Hi YouTube, it's Nessie here again. This is a Hot Topics Thursday, so I'm coming back to do the topic I was talking about last week. Um, that I said I was going to talk about this week. That didn't make a bunch of sense, but you'll get where I'm going about problematic faves. Um, and I wasn't gonna necessarily do this. It just people kind of irritate me. Like I think I really need to get off Tumblr or Facebook or just social media. Period. Because while everybody's entitled to their opinion, that doesn't mean you have to down someone else's because you don't particularly like what they like. Now, this particular person I was looking at on Tumblr, was saying just some young kid, some anonymous wrote in, white men sing better than women and blacks. Which they were on anonymous, so why would you give them any play anyway? Because you're not bugging up to say it to my face. Sure. You're just, and this person responded, you're just bitter that the Beatles and Neutral Milk Hotel are completely garbage, unlike Beyonce and Nicki Minaj. And I responded to this person, I'll just read you a bit, I understand your standing and all, but the Beatles were talented and changed the music industry. They, like Beyonce and Nicki, were helped by the time in which they came out. Okay, so I'm gonna stop right there. What is getting on my nerves, because this person went on to say that, well, and it was just stupid that Beyonce can go back in time and I want to send her back in time and defeat the Beatles. Like, was that really gonna happen for you? And then, people just kind of going back and forth, like, well, she can't beat the Beatles. It's like, yeah, because the Beatles actually beat somebody or whatever, because they were in reference to John Lennon is known to beat his wife. Okay. But then it's just got me onto a long trend of thinking about almost all the people that we like have been problematic at one point in time. Yes, John Lennon used to beat his wife. Ike Turner beat Tina. Glenn Campbell beat Tanya Tucker. Chris Brown beat Rihanna. Eric Clapton was a crackhead, well, heroin. He was on heroin and not a particularly nice person. Bobby Womack was a crackhead. And the list goes on. Now, that being said, none of that it takes away from the talent that I feel that someone else has, and I can look at it objectively. And I also look at people sideways when you look at somebody's personal life and try to not give them credit for what they do professionally. That's just like Miranda Lambert, who's going on and on about that year, the Grammy Awards. That was a couple of years ago, where Chris Brown won his Grammy for his album at that time, or he just won for a song, whichever. Which first, let's acknowledge that Chris Brown's, whatever you think about him, he is super talented. I don't really want, and then the whole thing with Rihanna was not recent even at that time. They can stop bringing it up, and he apparently hadn't done that to a girl since. And she kind of went on about it, and they were like, well, he shouldn't get a Grammy. Well, but in the same breath, on the same episode, you were honoring Glenn Campbell, who knocked his then girl wife, I don't know their relation, Tanya Tucker's teeth out, and, beat her several times, even backstage at the Grand Ole Opry. Might have been at the Ryman, same difference, whatever. But that's completely overlooked. So, and this was also coming from a person talking about problematic, because I'm just thinking about Miranda Lambert, whose husband was someone else's husband when you got with them. And I like Blake Shelton, but let's call it like I see it. Same thing, like I basically like Brad Pitt, but we're not gonna sit around and act like you didn't cheat on your wife with Angelina Jolie. Which, I mean, Angelina Jolie is a great actress and they do a lot of humanitarian work, so that's not taking anything from them. But you're not acknowledging that's not gonna meet what you do in your personal life should not have any effect of what you see someone else doing professionally. Like, I'm not gonna act like somebody's not a great actor. We're not gonna act like somebody is not a great singer or somebody doesn't have a great songbook just because they are pretty much trash as people. A lot of people are trash. The list is continuing. Or I'm not gonna act like something isn't that I like is basically trash. It's just like, I shouldn't, if I'm gonna be all high and mighty, like, I shouldn't like No Flex song. That song, first of all, it sounds like these children are singing this, and they have no business singing about this. They too young, but I like it. It's a goofy little song. Anaconda is talking about straight butts, and I like it. It's catchy. Whatever. I like, trying to think of what's it, Hot Nigga. That's the name of the song. But let's not act like that song is not terrible lyrically. And it's not even that he can't rap. Like, he's a good rapper. This is his first little single or whatever. But have you listened to the lyrics of that song? He's talking about how he been selling drugs since he was a kid, and how it ain't nothing for him and his boys to basically go kill people when they get in the way of his money / drug deal. But I mean, I'm still not gonna deny that beat go hard. Like, you know, and that y'all love that little dance, which why all you children are acting like that's new? Okay. But so my point is, let your parents get their life. Let them. I think some of the bitterness is because people always kind of bring up like the Beatles in like Rolling Stone magazines, but those are like older people kind of writing those magazines too. Cause you're gonna be the same person acting the same way about Beyonce or whoever it is you like now when you're trying to get their kids to listen to it, and your kids might be looking at you sideways because like, really? This new person is so much better than them. But let them get their life. Let them enjoy their music, because you're listening to their radio. You're riding with them. When you're in your own car, you can do whatever you want. And I also find that now that I've gotten older, I've actually gone to kind of appreciate the music from the 60s, because I mean, just like, keep it real, like when that person was like, well, I want to send back Beyonce to beat the Beatles, well, she probably wouldn't have no career, because at the same time, if you send her back during, let's say 1964 through 1970, that's the span really of the group. But during that time, you got the real Tina Turner. Why I want to see Tina Turner, like, let's keep it real. Like, you can see you got the real Diana Ross. Aretha Franklin's in her prime. You still got James Brown. Like, and these people are still kind of going. You got everything in Motown. You got everything at Stax. You got just music in general was kind of just better. And I don't know why some people are kind of act like, older people act like they had something to do with it. Like, it's different if you were, I mean, your daddy's not Paul McCartney, so it's not like you can take credit for being a Beatle. So I don't know why you feel some kind of supremacy. So it's not like something that you created. And the things that you were hearing at the time were new and real. Like, you still had, Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, were being great songwriters besides being great artists at this time. The fact of the matter now is that you hear nothing new. Or that when they even had a Grammy Awards back there, like, I would have loved for them to have taped a Grammys from back then so you can look at it, so it would actually be a good show, because it was just like people were just killing it across the board. And now it's just like the same. I feel like my life is wasted because you done had Katy Perry up here singing Dark Horse, or you put Iggy Azalea on there and she's just terrible all the way around. So I would rather see something that I wouldn't necessarily listen to, but still like a good show. Cause let's keep it real. Like, award shows now, they're terrible. There's like no real competition, and I can go back to Chris Brown. People are like, well, he paid for his Grammy that year. He won a Grammy. So if you think that he paid for his Grammy, my deduction would be, do you think he's the only person that has paid for a Grammy at this point? Which I don't think that's the case, because he genuinely is talented. Now, when I see some other people win it, I might not necessarily understand, but I don't knock people. I don't knock somebody if it's somebody's album I hadn't heard. Just like that year they were mad because Arcade Fire like beat out Jay-Z or something. But I can't like knock his album. I can't knock Arcade Fire's album at the time because I never listened to them. And then, when I did, I actually like Arcade Fire. Like, they got a lot going on, and they still do long form songs. A la, like, we can go back to the Beatles, and people, when they had, 7-minute songs, but it's all like straight great music, and it's moving, it's moving you, it's making you think about something, which I don't necessarily get now. Everybody's just kind of making a quick book. Like, I can't honestly tell you the last, well, that's a lie. Before I even stopped, the last album that I really liked was Janelle Monáe. But Janelle Monáe's Electric Lady is a great album. I recommend to you, if you do not have that album, to go buy it. It's awesome. I got 2 CDs from Target for like $12, and I get my life almost every single day when I'm driving in that car. And to Janelle Monáe, because it's great. It's kind of written like suites, the same way you would hear like a classical album is written in suites. So there's not a lot of breaks. There are some like little talking interludes that I can deal without, but like music on point, and it's different. So like I would enjoy seeing her perform again at something, say the Grammys, like, because I don't care what no matter how much I like the person, I don't feel like anybody is like really just kind of killing it. They're not doing anything new. I can think about the last Grammys that I saw was from last year. The people that I really thought did great were Kendrick Lamar and Imagine Dragons. That mashup of Radioactive and Mad City, that was like the best performance of the whole night. And that's for 2 artists. Well, yeah, because Imagine Dragons is a group. But 2 artists who didn't get any recognition, and they should have. There's no way. Like, people there's no argument to me that Kendrick should not have won. Let me rephrase that. Kendrick should have won the best rap album, period. He had the best delivery, even in the performances that I saw just across the board. And I mean, I liked when Pharrell and Stevie Wonder got up, but I mean, it's Stevie Wonder and Pharrell and Daft Punk. Well, really, that was Daft Punk. So I liked them too. And that performance between Metallica and I can't remember the musician's name that performed the piano with him. Like, that was just interesting to me. So I like interesting different things, but everybody else could have kept their performance. From Beyonce and Jay-Z, Taylor could have kept hers. Katy Perry definitely could have kept hers. Laura could have kept hers. That's who I can recall. And I think maybe did Bruno Mars get up and I don't know. Maybe I thought that he should have performed. But that's what I thought. And I mean, I think Paul McCartney and Ringo got up and did something individually because they were commemorating the years of music that, however many years that when the Beatles first came out. Cool. Okay. And they didn't really perform because they had a whole special the next night, which was good because they had different people come on to sing the songs, and it was good. So my thing is, it's okay to listen to some different stuff, get into some different avenues, and just because it's something that you don't like or something that you haven't given a try, that's what I'll say, you haven't given a try to listen to, don't be afraid to like something different. Like, I'm not telling you to be a hater. Or you might even read me as a hater because I would be like, I didn't think Beyonce's last album was great. I don't. 4 was better. And 4 was okay. But I really haven't loved her. And I still don't love it. I Dangerously in Love. But that's not even something, there hasn't been an album from her that I want to listen to all the time. And it's not just her, it's just across the board. Just like I like Rihanna. Rihanna makes good albums. Would I ever pay to go see Rihanna? No, not at all. She sounds horrible. But I think she's in good company because I'm not going to be like, well, Rihanna can't sing. Well, guess what? A lot of people can't sing. And they still have careers. I'm watching a model go back and forth. Or so... And then I will even say, to Rihanna's credit, she has gotten better. So I don't know whoever she's working with. I'm still waiting on her next project. She's been a little quiet as far as music goes. haven't heard her. I mean, and you know, Adele can quit if she wants to, so because she's still getting paid off of 21, which, you know, go girl, more power to you. But the point of this is that no one that you like is perfect, but let's not sit around and act like their music or their talent is less than, and because it's something that you don't particularly like. You sound ignorant. That's just like this person, which I had to basically stop following them because they said a lot of regular stuff. I think I started following them because they said something really powerful, or at least they reblogged something really powerful about the situation in Ferguson. But, you know, once you start talking ignorant stuff, I got to let you go. Just like, I can't deal with people still, y'all mad at what y'all call white feminists. I can't deal with that rant. Like, but the whole thing with that, my thing is, why are you fighting with that person that you would consider to be a white feminist? They don't see it for you as a black woman or a woman of color, and they try to ignore your experiences. So why are you, and they've done this on several occasions, so why are you still having a conversation with them about it? You need to worry about yourself, worry about your community, and you know what's going to help you advance as a person of color, and not talk to somebody who has no interest in you or who never considered you to be a human being in the first place. So you can move on beyond that. But we're not going to sit and act like music has suddenly gotten better than the 1960s. I mean, that was a great decade for music. So what I can do, I can give you some suggestions to give you your starter kits on what to listen to. I would just tell you, like, you know, even if you don't want to listen to the Beatles, maybe you want to listen to the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones, their first kind of albums were basically, they were cover artists, and they didn't never try to deny that they didn't basically cover other people's songs till they started, you know, writing songs like You Got Satisfaction. If you don't want to hear it from the Rolling Stones, a great cover of Satisfaction is by Otis Redding. You can find this pretty much anywhere. I suggest you go on YouTube. If I find a link for it, I'll go ahead and link it down below for you. So that's a great one. He barely sings the song, but you know Otis has so much spirit. So I would tell you to listen to anything from Sax. Motown, if you're not on it. The Motown covers the Beatles is an interesting arrangement, period. One of my favorite covers of a Beatles song. I'll give you a couple, so if you just, for whatever, just are determined not to listen to the Beatles, fine. I would tell you to listen to Stevie Wonder's version of We Can Work It Out. That's my favorite version of that song. I like it better than the original. And also Earth, Wind, and Fire's Gotta Get You Into My Life. Like that. And I also like the original one, which is basically a song about weed, if you didn't know. But, you know, it's written very cleverly. You would think it's about a person. So cool. And it's not like Mary Jane. They don't actually, you know, don't call it like her or this or whatever. So a lot of people talking about drugs in a clever way. So I appreciate that, which I wish people would kind of get more towards that in their songwriting now. Everybody just kind of does whatever. And then you're trying to compare what people are doing now to then. I don't think you could stand up against those artists from then. Just point blank, period. And the period. Because without them, these people that you look to now wouldn't have careers. Period. Because you're kind of copying what they're doing, or you're definitely sampling their music. And at the time, let's just say this wouldn't be created, or at the time there was no such thing as rap, even though you kind of had those elements in music like jazz or whatever, but it's not the same thing. You couldn't swear the way that you swear now. You couldn't talk be so explicit with talking about sex as you could now, which they still talked about it, but they still learned how you still did it in a way that was not like, there are people's albums that you can't play it on the radio. Like, even if they clean it up, this song is still terrible, or the structure of these songs are terrible. So just think on that. Because if you know, certain, like, I'll just go back because this person brought up Beyonce and Nicki Minaj. As much as I like some of the stuff that they do, if you want to put it up at the same time, they wouldn't have a career. Because you still got the Motown sound, British invasion, everything happening. I don't see how this person can form it. Like, you just sound young and dumb. And especially when you consider that you're bringing up an argument, one, for a group that disbanded when your parents were either children or not born yet, and they're only 2 living members. So why is this a thing? You brought up John Lennon being his wife. John Lennon been dead since before I was born. Yeah. So he died in 80, or he got shot in 80. So why is that a thing now? But I can't act like, as simple as a lot of Beatles music is, I'm not gonna act like they're not great songs. I don't understand people acting like their fave is perfect. I don't like that either, but I'm not gonna deny a person's talent. Let's see, what is my favorite? Because I'll tell you what's not my favorite Beatles song. I hate Maxwell Silverhammer. That is on I think it's on Abbey Road. Don't care for it. The song is silly and it seems out of place. But some people still get their life to it, but I choose to skip it when it comes up. Favorite Beatles album is the White Album. And I also like Rubber Soul / Revolver. But so that's 3. That really just named 3 albums. But I don't know, like, people go on and on about Sgt. Pepper, but Sgt. Pepper doesn't do it for me. But I can understand at the time, like, it's good to appreciate what's happening at the time. Like, no one had heard an album like that. Like, whole radio station were playing a person's the Beatles' whole album when Sgt. Pepper came out. Like, people couldn't believe it. They were introducing new music and different sounds we had never heard before, because they went to India and studied with the Maharishi, so that did something else. And by them releasing something like that, which is so out of ordinary, which it could have bombed, because it is so out of the ordinary of what they had been doing, which has been your, doo-wop, pop, pop, as Tamar says. Her album is great, by the way. I'm waiting on her next one. Regardless of how I feel about her attitude or whatever, which I like. I like Tamar. But anyway, back to the subject at hand. And so that's that. I would also tell you to listen to just like listen to Marvin Gaye. If you want to talk about different people you don't feel like necessarily got their shine, if that's more so than, because he too is problematic. He cheated on his wife with an underage girl pretty much. So, but a great album came out of that divorce, Here My Dear, which which is hard as easy to find. You could probably buy it on Amazon or something, but just to get like a single off there. And my favorite song on there is Anna's Song. So his whole thing about that album is basically he's going through a divorce. And they're talking about alimony, and he don't want to kind of deal with that. So the issues that come with that, or he can't believe that she's leaving, or that their relationship got to this point. So that's a great song. Great album, by the way. But that's just like Marvin didn't get his shine for what's going on. And y'all mad because old people still like the Beatles. Y'all still like NSYNC. I still like NSYNC. I still like the Backstreet Boys. Everybody had their thing going on. At the time, your grandparents still like whatever they liked. So, let your parents live. Listen to some older music. You might find some stuff that you like. It's different. Or different from what you're hearing now. Just like there's not really a lot of, this is getting long, or this is long. There's not a lot of rock music out today, but like, if you had to listen to old albums to listen to rock music. And I know we black, don't look at me sideways, because I'm talking about rock music. So I would suggest, as far as rock music who I like Led Zeppelin, Even though I will say they can be a little long and tasking because there's a lot of instrumentation, but that's a band. People don't have that now. Like there's not a lot of bands. You have individual artists, or you have groups singing a little doo-wop pop songs. And why is everything a pop song now too? That annoys me. Not too many groups out. So I do like the whole group thing where everybody is working and functioning. But like if you want to hear good rock music, I like Led Zeppelin. Which one of the thing I know Diddy sampled them he sampled Cashmere for that song Come With Me. Yeah, that was on the Godzilla soundtrack throwback. Think about it. Let me see. So that should be just your springboard. Just to listen to some different stuff. Educate yourself. And anytime you like hear somebody come out the way sideways, like I'm not going to even get into race components and this, that, and the third. But that does not mean, I'm not going to say because I might prefer X to whatever Y is doing. That doesn't mean that Y is untalented. Or Y's music is not great. So I'm not trying to judge you for your faves. I judge you if you're a person, and I try not to. But that's just like I don't see, like, for some people, like that kind of comparison was idiotic to me. And I don't like dealing with idiotic people. You don't give idiotic people your time. You don't give them any of this. So that's why I had to unfollow that person after I had to school them for a second. So know what you're talking about first time you did it, and let's not act like most people in entertainment, like maybe it's just because of that whole Hollywood music industry acting blase blah scene. But most of them appear to be trash at one point or the other. I try not to be like, oh, that person seems so nice. Yeah, you seem nice because I'm not with you. But then you hear about something backhanded. I try not to try not to be surprised. Try not to really hold them against them. But that's that. So listen to some different music because I'm disappointed in what's happened musically. Really, even though there'll be a few one-off songs, like I said, I feel like it's been a long time since I can just listen to an album and like them, and stop being determined to not like somebody just because they aren't the person who's normally your favorite. That's crazy. So I'll drop you some links below. Try to make this shorter next time. No, it's kind of all over the place because I kind of get into it. Like I can make a separate video about old music and we can have a discussion. Maybe that'll be another one of my hot topics. But so yeah. So while my closing remarks. Yeah. But that's stupid. Yeah, wow, ain't nobody in the Beatles. Ain't none of them Luther. Ain't none of them Otis. But who is that you can name that's black that's not Luther or Otis now? David Ruffin. Wonderful voices. Marvin. That's out now. If you say Trey Songz, I'm mentally smacking you with my mind because that's idiotic. No one. And let them have that. Those people, I hate when people try to replace somebody with a legend. No, a legend with somebody, that's backwards. So, that's just like everybody's looking to be the new Michael. There's only one. Like, no one has, you still can't top him musically, talent-wise. And even though a lot of the songs are so simple, they're great. Simple songs are what get you. Simple songs are what you continue to sing, but there's a lot of arrangement, there's a lot of hard work, there's a lot of different, I love a little different twist and spin, or when somebody has a lyric that's really smart. I like that. Like, I just don't want to hear about, you got a whole album about the same thing. Wow, you like to have sex. Ooh, you're such a woman. Ooh, you bounce back from having a baby. Ooh, like, why is everything about your sex? That's what I liked about, or your money. That's annoying now across the board. Period. Talk about, I would be so refreshed if somebody just made a song about dinosaurs and really be like that parody of Anaconda that was actually the educational version was brilliant. Because they told you how anacondas really mate and their mating habits. It was great. But I mean, I still like the regular anaconda, but it's a booty shaking song. But let's just keep it real. Let's keep it all the way funky. Let's keep it all the way fresh. Educate yourselves. Listen to some different music. And you can also sign petitions. Apparently, I'll try to link it where they're trying to get different people for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominations for the upcoming year, because they will be here again. I know one of the groups that they are trying to get inducted are the Marvelettes. Now the Marvelettes sang, wrote and sang Wait a Minute, Mr. Postman, which was in fact covered by the Beatles. That's why I'm bringing it up. And that young lady that wrote that song got hella paid. So, and there's not a ton I don't know if there are any other black female artists in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I know besides Aretha Franklin. Aretha was the first black and female artist to be inducted. I want to say maybe Tina Turner's in there now. So yeah, go look on their website. Go look at that. So that's just like people complaining about maybe how LL Cool J and Run DMC were not in there at the time, but neither is Patti LaBelle and the LaBelles. They're not people that were part of it, that were great doing it for years and years ago. So don't look at that any kind of way. It's a lot of I'm sorry, as much as I love Nirvana and I like them, which going back to singing, love Nirvana, but Kurt Cobain could not sing. Love the songs though, great music, yeah, but they come from him like Nirvana. But I don't think that they should have been in there before some other groups. I guess that's my point. So I'm just saying, so go look at that if you have a problem with it. This is going on for way too long. Try not to be so judgmental. Alright. Peace. Be out. Hit me back. I'll list my links. Tell me what you think. Suggest some other good music, old music to listen to, so we can maybe make an old music playlist that we can kind of get going around that has great songs. The rarer, the better. So, bye. Y'all. Be blessed.